Okay, so we're back here with another day of dev work and etc. etc. Now, we're not going to get right into doing what we normally do. I'm actually working on a few little side things here to get them really quickly finished up. One of the things I'm working on real quickly is getting fuel and oil implemented into our fluid modular. That way we can now access that from other mods and slowly but surely implement that into our current project workspace where we'll be able to start processing oil into fuel down the road. Right now the main reason I'm doing this of course is for a client commission, as the client wants an oil type mod, although he's using the oil ore mod I have, so it's converting an item into another item, which then gets turned into fuel. So we're adding the fluids mainly so we can finish those recipes off for that mod and be done with it. But it's a good start for the day. It gives us a really quick kind of warm up, I guess would be a way to put it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go really quickly find the water texture because I need fluid textures for this stuff. And what we can do is I think we can just legitly copy the water. I think we can just reuse it. I don't think we actually need to make custom textures. I think we just colorize it the entire time. So we'll go ahead and copy those. And if I can remember where I was going to. Sometimes you get lost wandering around these packages here. Okay, source main, resources, assets, VE, textures, and blocks. So we already have milk in here apparently. Let me go take a look at milk, and milk is pretty much a blank texture. I don't want to say it's completely blank. The thing is, we're probably, because we're opening up in Paint, we can't actually see what it looks like. So we're going to open up in GIMP real quick and take a look at it. I don't think we would have had a complete blank texture. Yeah, it's not blank. It's alpha transparent though. So there is some wavy lines in it and everything. Cool. So we're going to rename all these. And yeah, we're just going to rename these to fluid flowing because we're just going to use them as a base. What might happen is we may grayscale them so that way they look a little better. But right now we're just going to use what we have available, which is just flat out water. And then we'll see where we go here later. After all, I'm not in too much of a need to have perfect textures for this. After all, the likelihood is you're going to install this mod with another mod that already has oil in it and fuel in it, and I'm going to, hopefully those will take priority because I'm registering my fluids at the last second, which is in the post init. I think most do their either the pre-init or the init. So this means that the fluid handling mod should only on average create blocks for these fluids because not every mod has a block for their oil and fuel. This does enforce a block per fluid we register through here. This will, of course, change in the future. Right now, we're just going to support, I think, a couple fluids in here. Yeah, there's 2 here plus milk. Milk is separated out for legacy reasons. So right now, there's going to only be 2 fluids we're going to put in here. Later, that fluid list is going to go up to about 10,000 different fluids. But when we do that, we're going to use the extended block metadata we've been working on to actually tell us what fluid it is. That way, we're not wasting 10,000 block IDs. And that gives us a huge list of fluids to play with, and we'll have a lot of cool little fun with those. Anyways, the code's already set up to do this. I wrote this code here a few minutes ago. I should have probably started recording earlier, and that way I could have showed you how I was working my way through the code. Pretty much straightforward. We go, if the fluid doesn't exist, we create the fluid, we register. We throw an exception if it doesn't register properly. This is just for keeping track of things because we have created the fluid here. And if we don't throw that exception, well, there's other ways we can handle this, but things could break, in other words, if we don't throw an exception. If it does exist, we get the fluid, we then check if it has a block. If it doesn't have a block, we then register the block. I got the wrong fluid here. You can tell this code has been converted. I grabbed this code over from the block milk and I just simplified it. I am working on doing inner mod messaging. This is how we're actually going to request the fluids from other mods and how we're going to get the fluids and everything. So the oil ore mod is going to go to the fluid mod and go, hey, I need oil, I need fuel, and it's going to go, yeah, I'll go ahead and register those 2 for you, and then that way recipes then have available with those items. We're also going to do bucket materials with this way. For those of you who are not familiar with what the fluid modular is, it's actually a bucket mod that I have abstracted in such a way that anytime we want to make a new bucket, so if we make a wooden bucket, we want to make a cacti bucket, a metal bucket, a obsidian bucket, all we have to do is register a material. We don't have to do a lot of work. It simplifies life by a massive amount and allows us to just make content for days. And it doesn't have to be a bucket we make through these. The fluid can mod is actually just flat out a bucket using the same system. It's just its textures and animations are changed. That's the plan we're going to do for everything. So we're going to make capsules. We're going to do all kinds of really cool decorative items that are just buckets. They're nothing special. We only have to use one item for them. We have 32,000 metadata available for materials. All the fluids are stored via MBT, and if we really run out of materials, so if we end up with 32,000 more materials, either we can make a new item or we can start using MBT to register all the material types. There's a wide variety of things we can do. It does give us a whole bunch of event stuff, but that's not the point what we're working on here. Also, the materials saved to the config file. But where were we at? I think, yeah, we were going to get ready to work on some fluids here. So we have the fluids. And right now, it's designed to look for the name of the fluid in order to get it. Trying to think if there's a way we can actually verify if the icon is there. I'm going to think the answer is probably no, which means we're going to sit here and have to make a fluid icon per each. Because I don't want to get rid of the milk here. Actually, no, what we're going to do, we're going to change this up. So we're going to go string. Actually, we don't need a name for the thing. So we need an icon name when we make the block. And then that icon name will be recycled over here. So we can just register fluid. Yeah, we're going to need a separate one. So string block name. So this right here is going to be the block name. And to support legacy handling, actually we don't need support legacy handling. We're just going to come down here and implement it. So this will be, we'll add another thing here. So we'll go string and then we'll go string icon. So it'll be name and then icon. And then when we go up to here, so this is just going to be milk twice because our name of our item is milk and then we already have an icon for it. But when we go down here and we create this, what we're going to do is we're going to then pass in fluid because we don't have icons for a lot of this stuff. And we're not going to make icons for a lot of this stuff, so we're just going to do this. And then what we're going to do is create another array up here. And I believe we just want to make an integer, so this would be fluid colors. And then we'll make an int array for this. And trying to think of the best way to handle this right now. One that shouldn't be airing out. Expression expected, but apparently I'm not working on a good enough expression there. Oh, I'm missing the new. That's what's up. A little bit of a slow morning. Haven't had my coffee yet. So we're going to put zeros here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go color to int and see if we can find a converter. RGB int calculator. So we want some kind of color. Actually, you know what we can do here is I can go new color 1.1.1 dot. Well, I have to import the color real quick, but Java AWT, and then we can go to or get RGB. That's actually what we want color-wise for oil. We don't want that for fuel though. Fuel we want yellow. So see if I can multi-line this, because if I can do one per line, yeah, there we go. It'll let me do a little bit more here. So if we do that, see if it'll, yes, cool, it'll organize. So we can click the first one here, and we can brighten this up, bring it up over here. It looks like a nice, disgusting color for oil. Choose that color. That'll give us our int value, so we got our oil here. Let's actually brighten the oil just a little bit, because I always have that complaint about Buildcraft's oil being like pitch black and making it almost impossible to see it. So we'll get more of a charcoal color. Either oil is pretty much a black color, although I can't remember if it reflects light a little bit or not. It's been a long time since I've actually seen crude oil. But that'll work. And then we can come down into our registry method here, and when we create our fluid, we can actually go fluid.setColor. Fluid.color. Actually, let's not do it in that spot. Let's go. Where's our creation method? Right here's our creation method. We're going to change this real quick, so I'm going to drop this down to here. And we're going to go int I equals 0, I is less than supported fluids.length, I plus plus. The reason we're doing this is because we now have two arrays. We're using parallel arrays for those who are familiar with coding. For those who are not familiar with coding, it basically means we have more than one array that we're pulling data from. So you want to grab the index value rather than actually grabbing off of the loop, because there's no way in Java at the moment to grab the index off of a loop. So you'll have to do other things here. So fluid doesn't equal null, then we want to go, okay, fluid.setColor. There's getColor. How do you not, why is there not a setColor? I know, I could be sure there is one. Set viscosity, set temperature. We might come back through here and do viscosity here later. Is there seriously not a getColor here? It's not even stored. I didn't know that. So it's there's a method that just squeezed down here. Yeah, right there's getColor, which calls getColor, which then calls getColor. Yeah, okay, we'll have to make a class file for this. So okay, new fluid VE is what we're just gonna call it. We're not gonna be creative. We're just gonna like simplify life here, and we're just gonna give ourselves a setColor method. So this way, actually, yeah, we'll store it as an integer. So this would be public, or no, protected int color. And then we'll create a set method for it. Public void set color int color. This color equals color. And of course we got our getColor method, which we'll have to go and grab real quick. I wonder if in the newer versions they actually fix that. Because color would be your best way to support fluids quickly, is that you would just be able to do stuff like that. What other things are not exposed here by default? See, the thing is, you got luminosity, which is only used by like I think a handful of fluids. Density barely anybody touches. Temperature gets adjusted occasionally. Viscosity gets adjusted occasionally. Is gases does get used quite a bit. I've never seen anybody use rarity, ever. What other methods do we have down here? Out of everything they got down here, the color is the only one that doesn't have a set value, which just makes it dumb. I guess they probably added it via pull request, and then somebody said like, hey, we want to go ahead and just not do anything with it. Anyways, we go to this. This means we're going to have to actually transition to our VE class. Actually, you know what, we're going to do it that way, and then that means we're going to come down here, and then when we create our fluid, we're going to do fluid VE. Then we're going to check for instance of up here. So we're going to go, okay, if fluid is instance of fluid VE, then we're going to set the color. And this would be fluid colors and .I to get access to it. And then we can store a whole bunch of stuff up here. Most likely what will end up happening here later is I will make a data structure for this stuff. That way we can store all of our values for our fluids in a place that's easily accessible, and then more than likely that data structure is going to be populated via JSON here later, so you guys as mod pack creators can actually toy around with the data, add more fluids to your supported list. Because the only reason why the supported list is this way is because I don't want to have too many block IDs, and then I don't have a lot of textures to work with. Plus, to be honest, I don't know what other fluids I'm going to throw in here. I don't want to throw a whole bunch of molten like metals in here because that's something that I'm probably just going to handle in Volt's engine. It's the only thing that's really going to be using the molten metal system, because I think Basic Industries and the Creation mod are the only two that are ever going to take care of molten metals. The creation mod is going to be using it via its lava orb thing, which you can see in some of the earlier videos. And then Basic Industries is going to probably have an add-on that's going to do a lot of smithing. Actually, Armory mod probably will do a little bit with molten metals. It won't directly, it'll be an indirect thing where you can just take metal and you can cast it. So it's one of those things that wouldn't really matter much. This all looks good though. So now what we need to do is I need to figure out how to do inner mod messages. I've never done them before. At least I don't remember doing them. My luck is I've done them before and I just don't recall. But we're going to go to the oil ore mod, and then we're going to send an inner mod message and go, hey, I want you to do this thing. Okay, so we close that, close this, close that. Okay, I need this one. Okay. So I need the mod ID when I do this. So this would be VE fluids. And I want to say it's fml common handler dot instance dot send. Shoot, it's not that. Put that there real quick while I figure this out. Let me close the sentry package too. I was working on the sentries here earlier, and I fixed them automatically placing on top of each other, so you guys can't do your giant towers of sentry guns anymore. I'm amazed that the mod hasn't even been out that long and somebody did that. Should have took a screenshot too. Or rather, I should have saved the guy's screenshot he sent me. Blarg. Okay, so we're going to be sending these little events back and forth. So how do you populate these guys? Okay, so it says we send just after initialization if you have IS mating from other mods. Doesn't really help me. I want to know how these are sent. Distribute state messages. But how do we get state messages? So master channel post, custom event, new instance. Well, you're useful. See if Google can help me out here, because the reality of it is I don't have any clue what's going on with this. So Minecraft Forge, enter mod messages. Plugin messages, enter mod comms question, I think is what we're looking at here. Any code in here? I'm seeing a lot of people talk about why you should implement them and stuff, and what you should do with them, or what you're limited to do with them. Let's take a look at this thing. This is the class file. Was there anything down here? Oh, there's a send message. So what does this send? This is IF. Okay, maybe I could just do it that way. So this is IMC event, or maybe I do it this way and then, aha! We have discovered what we were looking for. Okay, so our mod ID is going to be VE fluids. Then our key is going to be request fluid. So let's go ahead and close all these real quick so I can get back to this package. And then what we're going to be requesting is going to be fuel. So it'll be this, and then we'll do fuel. We'll do oil as well, just so I got them both registered and loading right now. There we go. That should, in theory, work. More than likely, if I get this working, a lot of our request-based systems inside VoltEngine are going to switch to this style of message system, because it will remove interdependency between some of the mods a little bit, and I kind of want to lighten that up a little better. It'll also fix some of the issues we're having. Though the reality of it is I may go to JSON for a few of these things. Actually, hold on. I gotta kill this to make sure this is actually going to load properly. Kill. Bye. Dead. Die. stop. I gotta do the stop button from up here. I didn't check to see if we had the mods enabled in that package before I clicked load. Actually, you know what? Instead of trying to do it that way, let's no, actually, we do need to go in there and still check it anyways. I need to check the other one. So rather than trying to clutter my ICBM workspace, which we're having nice load time from, let's go take a look at the Minecraft 2. And okay, we get the fluid mod there, and then we get the whale mod there. Okay, so go ahead and load this. And one thing I kind of forgot to do was set creative tabs on a few of these things, but oh well, that isn't going to be too big of a deal. The way we're going to check that to make sure that the stuff is registering is, of course, I'm going to put a pop message here. So that way it'll debug. And then we want to stick one right here. That way we can sit there and we can watch what it's doing real quick, and we don't have to second guess ourselves going like, did it work? Maybe it worked? Did something happen? Variety of little things. Always a good idea to make sure stuff is working appropriately. Also, my audio is really low. I don't know why it's that low. Alright. So we'll get this working, and then we'll probably end this video pretty short compared to most of the other ones, and then we'll probably get back into working on ICBM again. Especially since I've been taking heat from a few people, including Lim, who will be like, hey, your mod is really unstable. And it's like, I know this. There has been no illusion that I've been marketing it as stable. Especially with the rewrite going on, we're doing a lot of back-end rewrite to try to get it, get the mods future-proof, so that way the updates to newer versions are easier. It has been breaking a few things, but it'll be worth it. Even though it's taking a lot of time, it'll allow the mods to function a lot quicker, a lot better. Because not only are we future-proofing, we're also kind of abstracting and doing a few other things. So switching to the node and JSON system is making it much simpler to do anything we do. Getting the abstraction we want to do, so if we want to separate the world class out from our normal method calls, when we go to wrapper the world class, what we can do with that is I can add methods to my wrapper, so that way I can quickly access things. So instead of calling, say, heatmap.getHeat at location, I can call world.getHeat at location, and it will automatically wrapper that for me, so I don't have to call to that other method. It'll just be part of the world class. You can see I was testing sentry guns here. One of the things we just fixed with the sentry guns, by the way, is how quickly they kill things. There is a delay in Minecraft that you can only be hit so many times per tick. This is removed. That spider dies instantaneously, pretty much. It looks like it's taking a couple seconds to die, but it takes exactly 16 hearts of damage, and there's not a single delay or miss in HP. The sentry guns hit it every single time, and they don't hit a point in time where they don't do damage. I can show this off too, because there is debug code to confirm that. So you can see we're taking 16, so we're taking 5 points of 3 and 1 point of that. And then you don't see a single one where it says, okay, damage is missed. It says applied damage. There's an alternative if it misses the damage. Or actually, there's two alternatives. There's one that says we completely miss, and there's one that says we hit the target and the target reflected the damage. That way I know what's going on. And it's one thing is to let me test armor and stuff, but ignoring that, we're here for oil and stuff. Let's see if I can find a bucket. Okay, I don't see... See if I can go and... No, wow, that's... We shortchanged ourselves. We have no way to see if that actually loaded. And our debug should have triggered on him, so that's telling me something's weird. Yeah, because we should have got a trigger on that. Okay, file... What did we actually run? Oh, we ran ICBM only. That's the reason we didn't get a single trigger. Let me check the project structure real quick, though. Do we have wooden buckets in here? Yes, we do. Okay, so I need to make sure we're running the correct one. So debug, and this is going to be light Minecraft client. I need some better naming scheme for these. I also need to create a build script where these auto-generate, so the interns and stuff don't have to make their own run configs for this stuff. Because the workspace I've got set up over here, this does take a couple hours to set up because of the fact that I separate out the Minecraft runtime into something called ZDeps, and then everything extends ZDeps. And then it all goes to these Minecraft clients at the bottom down here. So you got the Minecraft 1 client, Minecraft 2 client, and you got the ICBM only client, which was called config test. And that's literally what I was using it for, was the test configs on Volt's engine. Did we crash? No, we did not crash. Okay, we're just taking our sweet old time to load. While we're at it, let me go grab this and we'll synchronize some code here. I actually need to update my Git Kraken. There's like 2 new versions out now. I haven't updated. I gotta view more repositories. I don't like this system they've got here, where you have to view more repositories and then you gotta work your way down into what you're looking for, because it takes a bit of time to get familiar with. Plus, it's missing all my VE modules. So I'm gonna select folder, VE. I got prefabs open. I want this folder. Okay, so I need to pull real quick because I guarantee somebody's done something. Oh, nobody's done anything this? Oh. That probably needs work done. Okay, we'll go ahead and commit that, hit push. I think it's the only mod I've been working on for the last few minutes. I can check real quick. Weird thing is I don't know how many of these need to be. I think we're good. Okay, so it looks like we got our first request, so the intermod messaging just did work. So we just got a request for fluid. I have to admit that is probably the coolest thing I've ever seen because it's really easy to use. There's not a lot of complexity to it. Anyways, we can check to see if stuff's loading. Yep, fluid loaded, color got set, so our code is functional. That's probably the cleanest implementing code I've ever written, the last month or so. Because, of course, I wrote a Hello World application here recently to teach somebody how to program, so technically that would have been the cleanest implementing thing. Speaking of, I got a couple more people to teach how to code here. My buddy Eric, who goes by the name of Shadow and Doppelgangerous, is wanting to learn robotics. And one of the things I was telling him is like, hey, come work for me, come program for a while, and what we can do is I can teach you how to program really well, I can teach you how to understand how robots work. And that shouldn't have happened. We broke something. Okay, first letter uppercase. Next 2 letters lowercase. So we're gonna have to restart here because I need to make sure that that works properly, because that'll break people's worlds. So they could have had milk sitting in the open, which I don't know why you would have it. I am gonna make a mod that's gonna cause stuff like that to spoil, so it is on the list. The reason it's on the list is, by the way, for the Artelex mod, so that way refrigeration and stuff like that is important. Also, food supply is important, because right now, if you play Minecraft, your food supply doesn't decay. One of the biggest things in real life is the reason why we farm as much as we do, is because the food supply decays. If we didn't have decay on our food supply, we probably would have to farm half as much per year, as I think a large portion of the food supply we actually grow goes bad every year, because, I mean, food only lasts so long. With all of our preservation techniques and everything, it still doesn't quite get everything. It's better than it used to be. When you think about it, you go back in like the medieval times, they probably lost 90% of their food supply due to this stuff. I'm probably wrong on these numbers, by the way. When I go to make the mod, I'll do some research and stuff, and I'll try to implement as many preservation techniques as I possibly can. So it'll be things like jarring, canning your food. Those will probably take care of most of your needs. So if you make a factory that makes canned food in the game, you'll be covered. The canned food will last like 10 years. Although with the defect system I'm adding, you're still going to get like 1 in 1,000 of those probably go bad. There's a lot of really cool things I plan to do. Main reason I'm doing a lot of this stuff is people are going like, why are you doing this in Minecraft? I'm actually using Minecraft to prototype mechanics for games I plan to work on. So there's a plan to make a game that is Artelex, by the way. So the Artelex mod is going to become its own game. And that is going to be a fully functional world simulation game that you can build up worlds from Stone Age all the way to the futuristic time. Of course, it's probably going to be DLC heavy, but a lot of those DLCs probably will be free. The reason why it'll be DLC heavy is I just want to make sure that people can choose what they want to play with. That just went straight into the registry method. What? Okay, we gotta do this real quick. So string name equals that. string block name. Reload that, and then we'll see what it does to the next block ID here. Yeah, it looks fine right there. So block name VE block oil. If we restart, we run and debug it here again. Something changed between loads. I don't know what. Maybe milk wasn't generated. I don't know. Because we got oil and we got fuel. It actually might be. Yeah, I know what's actually wrong with it. It's not that our code's running wrong. Here, let me go ahead and kill this off. It's this line. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that line. That way I can do this. Apparently we don't need that anymore. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna toss this up here. Pop this in here. And there we go. What's happening is that it's trying to run this check right here, which is actually we put right there. And it's going into this method. This method, of course, we just removed that check from. It's going, okay, are you contained within the supported fluids? And it goes, no, because you're not in there. Now, we could easily fix that by actually doing a config check here and let's do other things. But yeah, we'll just do it that way because that's a little bit better. Additionally, that lets us recycle that method. So we, instead of having to ensure that everything is within that requested fluid check, we can just use that fluid check to make fluids whenever we want. So another mod could come in and call that method and be like, hey, I want to make a fluid real quick, and it'll make a fluid and it'll give back everything it needs, and etc. So more flexibility to the better. I really need to make a Steam mod for Minecraft. I think there already is one out here though, but I kind of want to toy around with it a little bit more. There's a few things I can probably do that would be really nice. Like maybe linking your achievements or something. That's actually one mod I do want to make, is an achievement mod that actually will upload your achievements to a website. Because Mojang promised to do that, and they never got around to it. So that your achievements keep resetting every time you log into a server. Which can be really annoying. Not as annoying as those mods that fire fireworks every single time you get an achievement. It's like achievement, fireworks everywhere. Achievement, fireworks everywhere. For somebody who has a little bit of a hearing impairment, it hurts, dude. I mean, they got configs to turn them off, but the fact that they're even on by default is just painful. Cool, so it is the correct ID, and it is registered now. Okay, so that fixes that problem. We'll have to check our textures in a second. The number one way we're going to check our textures is primarily just by using the buckets to dump the fluids on the ground and then seeing what they look like. It is highly likely we're going to have to grayscale those textures, which wouldn't take us too long to do. That'd be something I will just take care of later if the colors are off. The main thing we want to make sure is that the fluids do function properly, so that way I can then do the recipes here later for the fluid cans and everything. Okay, so we should have a wooden bucket with oil, and then there should be one that's got fuel in it. That's molten lithium. Apparently that is milk. Something broke there, because you see how it's a really dark color now? Gotta be one of these has got to be fuel. Okay, there's fuel. These are sort of alphabetized. Why are all these names screwed up? Item, wooden, but what? That's why they're screwed up. Something got messed up. There's oil. I don't know why milk looks that way. It looks like there's some colorization problem happening. We'll check in a second. Okay, that looks just like water, so that didn't get its color properly. And the same with that one. Do we have a mod I can dump stuff into? So I regret removing BuildCraft from my workspace is that BuildCraft would have been a perfect mod to test that fluids were working correctly. You know what? That's not good right there, because that should work. What the texture work? Man, there's so many bugs that need to be fixed. It's dumb. We'll work on that a little bit here later. Let's fix this item bug real quick, because that's a really simple bug to fix. That'll be over here in the bucket. Item fluid bucket, and then I don't know how in the world it got registered twice. Maybe it's get unlocalized. No, that would be the translations, and the translations look perfectly fine. Okay. Consume, invalid. Could it be the registry name? Let's go take a look at the fluid module and see if it accidentally put item into the name. Domain plus bucket. Register item. Item name, well, I don't know why mod ID's at the end of that. Because that looks perfectly fine. You're registering the name okay. The name gets sent to the unlocalized. Everything looks good. The only way for this to happen is that there has to be some kind of get unlocalized method down here. And it's screwed up. Okay, here we go. Get unlocalization. Get material. Material.get unlocalization. Yeah, so it's where the problem is. So we want to get rid of this. Because I believe get unlocalization if we go up. No, it has item in it. I don't understand what is going on with this. So if we go into here, hit Control Z. Actually, you know what? It probably is a localization. Where's the localization being created from? It's being done from here. Fluid can. Bucket material can client. You're not helpful whatsoever. Common proxy. So yeah, there's no item in that. And we know from looking at this that this has item and prefixed in front of it. Yeah, we're getting item in there twice. Item, wooden bucket. You know what? It's got to be the wooden bucket mod then. So if we go here, we do this again. One of the ones we should get is wooden bucket. Ah, yep, found it. So we got item.prefix here for the localization. Okay. Yep, so that should fix it. Unfortunately, that does mean we'll have to restart to get that fixed. I need to work on this mod more. I don't think we even got the new version released right now. Texture from milk needs to be fixed. How he got turned black, I have no clue. Probably a small oversight in here somewhere. So let's take a look, work our way through this, and what first thing we want to do is check this, and number one way we can check to see if this is accidentally setting something in here is setting that to static, which it is not. So we shouldn't be getting any colorization off that. You know what's happening? Because we're registering via VE fluid. I forgot we didn't set that. So what we want to do is come up to here, and we want to grab this number. And yes, this is a number. It's hex. It turns into an integer. This is equivalent to, I want to say integer max, but it's been a while. We can do this real quick. Oh, come on. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that turns into the deck number of 16 million pretty much. So, I guess. I don't know what that 0 does in front of there. It's been a while. I have a feeling that's significant. But that should set the caller to the default value. And that should fix our caller for our bucket. Then our textures names will fix. We need to translate fluid, fuel, and ore. So, or oil. We can do that up here. So we can go to langs, en.us. And all we have to do is grab these, duplicate them twice. And this will be fuel, fuel, and this will be oil, oil. Next thing I need to do really quick before we finish this off is I do need to actually go find BuiltCraft, and I need to check to see what they call their fuel and oil to make sure it is compatible. That should be one. I think we're gonna, well, let's not go to an older version right now. We should be able to just go common BuiltCraft, energy, side of things. I think we're looking at a newer version of the mod, so I'm going to have a little trick time trying to get through this. I don't see anything in here, given as he recoded like half of this, so they now use a ton of split classes for everything. Those are just engines. So let's try fluids. Yep, I think here we go. There's a lot of information in here. Oil residue, heavy, dense, distilled. What the flip? What we're looking for though is oil. I don't know what the rest of this is. We got fuel light, fuel mixed, fuel gaseous. I want to say the newer versions of Minecraft, he basically just changed the thing to a full distillation process. Which is not good because I just want to use a flat out fuel value. And now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different fuels now. And then he's got 5 oils. Is there any legacy support in here? Ugh. The reason I just did that is he's just flat out using a matrix to define all his values. This would be better as an enum. It would be so cleaner. Because then what you could do is you could put this define method right into the enum, and you could just iterate through the enum and call it define, and then it would just set all your methods. Or even better, you can create a fluid that then references your enum and pulls data right off your enum. So that way you're not storing all this extra data. Well, he's not storing it, of course. It's going to garbage collect as soon as he's done. But I'm kind of sad there isn't fuel in there. But I'm assuming because this is oil that the legacy fuel is actually called fuel. So we're good there. So that should fix our localizations. Our textures don't look too bad. We just got to fix the blocks texture now, but I'll do that later here. What I'll do is I'll toy with it. So I'm going to go ahead and close this video off, and I'll see you guys later.